All right, folks, welcome to another episode of the Boston Comedy Show with me, Mikey V.
And I'm Joey Voices, and these episodes are few and far between. We got to start doing these more.
Yeah, this is our new year.
I know.
Yeah,
We gotta start doing them more.
Our special guest, I'm gonna,
Jeff Hollywood Hurley.
yeah, Jeff Hollywood Hurley. Round of applause. We had Jeff on the podcast before. We did it in front of a live audience.
And that was a great night. That was like the best audience we had because everybody showed up to hear his story.
That was like 10,000 people.
There was a lot of people. Pearl Street.
all at Pearl
Almost.
Street, all in Malden,
Yeah.
all at once. And we had him outside. We had a live telecast via satellite.
Yeah. John Dennis showed up.
Hey, I heard something about Malden. Malden's going woke, and
Is that?
that's terrible. I heard.
Is it? I don't know. Who cares?
Well,
All right,
Who
I'll
cares?
stay away from politics.
yeah, we can riff, but
Yeah, rotate because you can't. I want you on camera.
Yeah, so just be mindful of it.
All right, yeah.
You're good right there. Yeah,
Okay.
perfect right there.
We got it, but we call it appropriation, okay? We got Trump and Viagra. We got a good team. We're teaming up. We call it Triagra. Right to Triagra for those with EDS, erectile derangement syndrome, okay? Believe
Mr.
me.
Trump, what do you think about Elon's son?
X?
Yeah.
I don't know. And Trump says he's a genius. Because the kid's got a high IQ. We call him high IQ, okay? They should have named him Q.
Dominic, get
Instead
Ritalin
of
for
X.
both of them, or
Yeah.
do you just have enough for one of them?
What do you mean?
Ritalin.
Backing up and-
Always thanks to our man behind the magic curtain, Dominic, our producer.
Brother.
Mike, that kid has no clue
Who's that?
how rich he's
How
gonna
old
be.
is he? How old is the kid?
Elon's son?
How
huh?
old is
All right,
his son?
let's rewind for a
He's
second.
got 8
let's,
kids, you know.
Let's
Does he?
rewind.
Yeah, he's got 8 kids.
That kid's his favorite.
Reel it back.
All right, go.
Let's get back to Pearl Street. So,
Okay, proceed.
so we had Jeff on, who's a Malden legend. We had him on at Pearl Street, and really,
He's a Boston legend, really.
New England. We'll say East Coast. And it was a huge crowd, and we tried to do it in front of a live audience, and we lost a lot of the audio. Just it was loud. People were cheering and laughing, and we were going back and forth, and we were streaming it on Facebook, and people were chirping in. So we wanted to have him back on the podcast, do a more quieter version, get some more details of the funny stories, and
Yeah.
Joe, I don't know, you were just pulling in, but I was telling Dominic, Jeff, like obviously you lifetime friends. I've met him through you, which I'm very grateful
We're
for.
like cousins. We're like family. Because, like Jeff will tell you that the day I was born, he held me in his arms.
Yeah,
brought me
11.
home from the
I was
hospital.
11,
Yeah. No, you were 13.
13.
You were 13 because you born, what year were you born? 59?
59.
Yeah, I was born 72, so 13.
So I had kind of introed him to Dominic, saying he's kind of like a Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like, as an actor, he never wants the spotlight, but when he does his craft,
Yeah. He just does it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like just superior talent.
Mm-hmm.
And that talent is from the Opie and Anthony show to running into Oprah
Yep.
and Muhammad Ali events.
The
And
roving reporter on WBCN. Yeah. With
Doug
Charles
Flutie.
Lacquera.
yeah, so we're going to touch on some of those funny
The
stories.
Doug Flutie story is probably one of the best stories. I love that story, and how it ends is even better because he ran into Doug Flutie at the Super Bowl. Jeff, was it?
I was down at the Super Bowl with the.
But tell the story. Tell the story how it started, and then go.
How
into
was that? Well, I just want to do one thing. I haven't seen Joey during Christmas, Joe.
You got me a present.
I got your present. Open it up. Open it up.
Christmas.
I didn't-
Oh, this is going to be great. I can already tell.
Open it up. It's what you gave
What's
me
in the
last.
box?
No, yeah.
You know
what's
why?
in the box?
I'm gonna tell you why.
You know where
I
that's
what
from?
This is, 'cause
It's
he
from
invited
out-
me- he
it's
invited
from
me
out
to
the
his-
lobby. They
he
had
invited
those
me to
presents.
his wedding. He invited me to his wedding when I was, 18, 19. I was a young kid. I didn't know any better. I was just a dumb kid. And I went and I didn't bring a gift.
Well,
Don't
isn't there a
worry about
timeline
You
after the
being
wedding?
there is the gift. But I got that. They got that at the display things. They
So when
still
he
got
comes
them out,
to my
the fake
wedding-
presents. I took one of them
Hey,
out of
when he
there.
comes
I was
to
going to
my
bring you
wedding-
the Emmy out there, but I
When he-
couldn't get it.
When he comes to my wedding, he's gonna return the favor and not give me a gift. So that's out of line. It's okay.
I think
He made a toast. May all
All
my
your kids be born naked. That's right.
And they were.
What year did you get married?
91?
1992.
1. Are you sure?
All right, so I think there's a
92. All right,
50-year window to
so I
gift.
turned 20 that year. I was 19, turning 20.
That was good. I was waiting for a scene from.
I
the
knew
movie
something was.
Seven.
I thought there was going to be something in there.
Well, that was it. They got it for the display out in the lobby. I could have got more.
He's already started stealing. He's been there for
stealing.
5 minutes.
I was going to steal the Emmy or the thing and bring it in for
So
you.
speaking of stealing, yeah, thank you for the Emmy.
All right, so stealing.
Speaking of stealing, let's get to the Flutie story. 'Cause I want to keep this in kind of chronological
Speaking
order.
of stealing, when they stole the election off of Trump 4
Hey!
years ago.
I tell you, believe me, we know we're going to get to the bottom of it, okay? Believe me, we're going to get to the bottom. People are going to go to jail, okay? Believe me. Go
Doug
ahead.
Flutie.
All right, Doug
What year
Flutie,
was
go.
this?
2020, the election? 2020.
No, the
Oh,
Flutie.
oh,
Doug
stole the helmet.
Flutie. Well, it's the year he won the Heisman.
84? 84. Because you went
Was
to
it
the Cotton Bowl
84?
that year, remember?
It was at 84.
But it was Christmas, so it was 83.
Yeah.
Christmas of 83.
83.
Going into 84, because the Cotton Bowl was in January.
Right.
And you and David went down in Texas.
We went down to
and
Texas.
David got arrested. That's another story.
I
but-
remember going in that
jaywalking.
night to get to the basketball locker room. You had to go through to get through. There was that. Yeah, they had the football locker room. So
What were you doing down there? What were you guys doing?
Matt.
I had a friend of mine that went to school there. No names to be in there, but he went to school there, and so we were fooling around shooting hoops with Michael Adams. He was a college basketball player at BC. He played in the NBA.
And this is in Texas.
No, Boston
This
College.
is at Boston
What was that?
College.
Just think of Texas.
It was, I brought up the Cotton Bowl, but that's,
Oh, okay,
that's,
okay. All right.
And
so
we
you're
were
BC.
we were shooting hoops, and I said, if I can hit it from half court, I said, I'm going down to steal Flutie's helmet. And they both, and Michael Adams, go ahead. You know, if you get it, you can. And I shot it, and it went in. So I went running down, and they're like, no, not today, not
course
today.
you did.
Maybe next time. So I came back a week later. As I was walking down, I brought like a gym bag with me. And
Purposely for the helmet, you went back?
purposely for the helmet. And because I went by earlier one time, and it wasn't there. All other helmets were there. I went looking for locker
So you're
22.
walking through the locker room, no one's in there.
No one's
and you're
in
like,
there.
Were you dressed up like the janitor, or what were you doing?
No, just right. Well, you know, when I was leaving with it, one guy says, "Hey," and I thought it was caught, you know. And the guy goes, "You guys are having a good year," and I'm like, I'm like 5'7".
He thought you were a player. I thought you were a punter.
Yeah, maybe I was the kicker, you know. Yeah, but I'm like, but so to get it, I came back one other time, and I was walking in the locker room. It was kind of dark, but you could see a little bit. And then all of a sudden, I walked over there, and it was like the light was shining on it from heaven, you know. That golden helmet.
Briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. And I see 22, and he was big back then. He was like Nancy Kerrigan, Trump, you know. He was
yeah.
like,
he threw the Hail Mary pass.
right.
Yeah.
He was all over the place. Now, you know, people probably could walk by him. Some people don't even recognize him, but
Younger people wouldn't.
younger people wouldn't. So there it was, number 22. I put it in my bag and walked out with it. And then that's when the guy says, hey, and he goes, I heard you guys are having a good year. This, I go, oh yeah, and thank you. I walked out. As soon as we get it in the car, I want me and my friend. We're driving it. We're putting it on our head, driving it. We're laughing. We go to
He's on 93 with a
Yeah.
helmet on his
Yeah.
head. Police like.
and we're sitting there, and then I brought it. My relatives were having a party. I brought the helmet in, and then a lot of people didn't think it was the helmet until the next day in the paper. It was, Flutie's helmet.
It was like
No.
Brady's jersey.
He actually came
It
on
was.
the news and was like pleading for whoever stole his helmet to return it. It was my lucky helmet, he said, right? Remember
Yeah.
that?
It was
My
like when
lucky
the
helmet,
reporter
oh, please
stole
return it.
Brady's jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Russia was invading some country, and still, the helmet was in the front page of the
Yeah,
Boston
it was front and
Globe.
center. Yeah, because it was
ESP
Flutie was huge.
ESPN, everywhere.
So now the ransom numbers
That's a
start
big
going through
story,
your
though.
head, or you were just doing it for fun? You weren't doing it out of...
Yeah, I did it for the idea, the exposure, the art of doing it, and for the
Just
fun
for
of
the
it.
prank of it.
And then I figured, hey, I'll give it back, and I'll even get better exposure.
He was gonna go and return it on the Letterman show. Remember?
Well,
and your friend said no, you can't do that.
I tried to call what places. I tried to cut my best deal. Like one guy at the Globe says, granted, we wouldn't have given him headlines, returning it back, but the Herald did. So I went with the Herald, and then it took a life of its own from there. And
Now, did someone call Flutie and let him know they found the guy with the helmet?
what we did was I called and said, I got the helmet, but I want to return it. And
This is the Herald you're talking about.
the Herald.
Yeah.
And they wanted to verify. First, they don't know who's calling, whether he got the helmet or not. So my sister wrapped it up. It was right before Christmas. Wrapped it up in a big box with a bow on it, and like a Christmas present. And I called over at his house. His number was listed. I got his father. His father, a little rough around the edges. He was like, oh, you took the helmet. I go, hey, relax. I'm going to give it back to you, all right? Relax. He's like, oh, this isn't a joke. I go, listen.
It's like you kidnapped a child.
I know.
So you get the-
They were all upset. Well, they said, Doug Flutie said, he believes in superstition. He thought maybe that helmet might have been bringing him his luck, and now he doesn't have it. His luck's going to run out. You know what I mean? But so we wrapped it up, and I told the father, I'm going to have someone bringing it back. We brought it to the Herald, and when the Herald was bringing it back, they thought I wasn't going to return it. I guess they had undercover police officers sitting around the house
Waiting to arrest him.
Waiting, and they grabbed the guy from the Herald that brought it, figuring it was me. And he's like, no, I'm bringing the helmet back. And
So the guy came to your house, the reporter from the Herald.
I went to the Globe.
Oh, okay, the
And I brought them the helmet, and told them about how I got it, and like I said, it was all over the place. And from there, I got a job on the Charles Laquadera show on WBCN.
Remember that? Yeah.
And Charles,
Huge back then.
back then, right before Howard Stern took over. I mean,
They had the Patriots.
But you kept the chin strap, right?
yeah, I got the
He's
chin
got the chin strap.
Yeah, anybody out there that wants that chin strap from that helmet, it's up for bids.
Hey,
call-
hey,
we'll call,
we'll call
Phil
Phil
Castanetti.
Castanetti. Phil,
Yeah.
Tell Phil you got it.
Yeah, I got
Say,
Phil.
Listen, Phil will pay you for it.
Yeah, Phil will do it.
What a story that would
Yeah.
be.
So you kept the chin strap. You made the. Did they give you anything? Was there like a reward or anything like that?
No, they didn't give me. But it was ESPN. It was,
He was
in
famous.
Sports.
He was famous
Sports
before that.
Illustrated. There was a small little article about it. ESPN led with it. Flutie's, helmet, and a lot of people got it. It was a great story. Like
was
you
a
took
prank.
it, now you gave it back, and everybody's happy.
Wasn't there
was
a
just a
number?
prank.
Wasn't there a number in the helmet or something?
What I did was, and I'll tell you, this
This is a
segues
great-
into the final time where I finally met him and told him. I figured a lot of people might try to take credit. Oh, I took it, and oh, you didn't take it. So inside, my initials are JPH. So in the numbers of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. J is 10. So I wrote a 10. And then P, whatever digit that would be. And then H. And I put it inside the helmet. I wrote it in pen, like right where his forehead would go. And me and the late, great Kevin McCormick from Malden, we were down there for the Super Bowl, chilling. And we got into a party, and we saw Flutie. He's like, tell him, you're the one that took the helmet. Tell him. So I went up. I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm the guy that took your helmet. And he looked at me, he goes, if I had a dime for how many people told me that,
Oh my God!
he goes, and he kind of blew me off. And I'm looking, I go, well, inside the helmet, I put these
10-16-8.
digits.
10-16-8.
Yeah, and that's, as soon as I said it, he stopped what he was doing. He was doing it, and he looked and he goes, you bastard, you did take it. He goes,
my God.
I've been wondering what that was. And I said, that's in case people try to take credit for it, that I can prove that I took it. And his brother Darren
smart.
was
This is
with him.
Mark, like a cat, like a
He's so
cat
smart.
burglar.
His brother Darren was there. He was laughing, and
At
they
least
thought
he was
it was funny.
laughing.
And we gave it back. And then if there was any trouble there, I had Mucka McCormick with me, there wouldn't have been a problem.
Kevin, I rest his soul.
Kevin was on standby in case things got out of hand.
That's a great story.
I
Man.
know. That's legendary. That's the one that made you famous. And then the Kirby Puckett with John Dennis. I remember John Dennis from Channel 7.
Yeah.
He was a sports director. And coincidentally, after Jeff got done with the Kirby Puckett story, they replaced him with Gene Levanchi like a couple months later.
Yeah.
But tell that story about Kirby Puckett when he was up. I think it was like 1990 when that happened, right?
Yeah, he was coming into Boston, and I thought of something, that I could play a little hoax, and I ended up before I called over at the Ritz-Carlton, and I reserved rooms. Back then, you could reserve rooms without a credit card. Now you need credit card, you need this. And I said I'd come in and pay for it tomorrow. And then they asked me, what's the name going to be? And I said, it's going to be Puckett and Shapiro. Shapiro was his attorney. And once I booked that reservation, I was calling around, and I got John Dennis first. And he was like glutton. He's like, can you do me a favor? Don't call anybody else. And he wanted this story.
He wanted the story. Yeah, he wanted the
Right.
story. Yeah,
And I'm saying to myself, okay, asshole, you're going to get this all yourself, brother. It's all you.
Meanwhile, there's no story. You're actually creating.
I
creating the
created
story. But you called him and said you were a bellhop at the hotel.
I said I worked there. I said I was setting up a function room, and it's for Shapiro and Puckett. And I said, I'm just calling. Did the Red Sox sign Kirby Puckett? He goes, well, what do you mean? I go, I'm at the Ritz. We're setting it up. He goes, what's your number? I give him my number. Guy goes, I'll call you right back. And he called over, and sure enough, he says, is there a reservation? They go, yeah, we have it tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So he thinks he's got the scoop of the year, they're coming in.
He's coming to Boston. The Sox are going to sign Kirby
He's
Puckett.
running to the editor's office. I got a big
He
one.
didn't do his due diligence
And-
to make sure he did. It's a very competitive
And
business.
hook, line, and sinker. So when it went in there, I waited, and then later on, the newscast comes on. He leads. Kirby Puckett's coming back to Boston. And
Oh, my
and
God.
the first time, I guess, he checked out the Freedom Trail. And they said, and it's not that check out the Freedom Trail. The Red Sox have a press announcement. The Red Sox will be signing Kirby Puckett. It's on ESPN. Everybody took it. It went off the rails. You know what I mean?
And then you did what? You called up.
I called up as soon as it went over. I said, "Hey, John, I called the station, and I called the Globe, and I said, I just want to let you know. I go, that thing about Kirby Puckett. I go, yeah, it's bogus. I said, I made it up. I said, I called John Dennis. And they go, so they wanted to verify because now they're thinking like, they're gonna get hooked into something else, and they called them, and then they had him call me. And I told them, I said, yeah, John. And he's sitting, he goes, he was getting all mad. I go, John, it's a joke. Relax, okay? I go, I made you famous. Everybody knows your name now.
And this was like late 80s.
Late
No, it was
80s.
1990, actually.
was it
That was
1990?
1990. So that was around the same time the Oprah Winfrey story, the Stedman Graham story. It was
Yeah.
around that
But
same time,
and things
right?
took a while. Even if he had to do some confirmation, there was obviously no internet at the time.
Right.
The computers weren't as
It can take longer to verify things.
Yeah,
and it's such a competitive business that they're all vying for the scoop of the year, and I can understand that. I can understand, and he knew, and he capitalized on
And
it.
you know
But
what they told me when I was in the Herald, I brought Flutie's helmet. There was one guy, oh, big deal. You got your 15 minutes of fame. And then after Kirby Puckett, like I did the hoax, and the guy, I hope you're happy with your 15 minutes of fame. And I had more than 15 minutes of fame coming my way. And I had Oprah. I had a lot more stuff. BCN, you know what I mean?
You were getting a kick out of it.
that's
It's
it.
like-
And everybody was laughing, and it was just, I get it. A lot of people frown on that kind of stuff because you're getting a laugh at somebody else's expense. And I get it, and I understand it, but it was,
I even had one where,
You're the original and practical joker.
yes,
Right.
he's the original.
the
original.
The Harvard Lampoon, they think they do their little jokes or whatever. They always do a hoax. They steal like a chair or they do
And
it.
nothing like what Jeff did.
I end up hoaxing them when they did it one time. They did something about
hoaxed
Trump,
Harvard Lampoon.
and I ended up calling them up telling them that they're being sued. I'm representing Howard Stern and Marla Maples. We're going to be suing you for defamation. And Norma Nathan was the big Boston Herald gossip columnist back then.
I remember her.
I had her. I hoaxed her into believing it. And
You held a fake press conference?
we were going to do the press conference and everything. And that's when that's when Trump was married to Marla Maples.
And
back then.
you're just like in Malden in your house, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not like you had a studio. You were at a radio station like Opie and Anthony,
Yeah.
doing this big prank. It's just Jeff Hurley. Like if people are like,
That's what made it funny. That's what made it
that
funny.
is hilarious.
What's hard to do, a lot of what I used to do is now, because of 9/11, it's crazy. Like you try to do something or you do it, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
repercussion?
yeah.
Without,
Yeah.
even with regular comedy, like when him and I go on stage and we're especially Joey, your show is super clean on purpose. Like you
Yeah,
want it
yeah, by design.
for
Yep.
everybody. But even like comics that we bring up, you're walking on eggshells, and it's like you're coming to a comedy show.
Yeah,
You
leave
came
your
to
ideals
see
at
us.
home. Leave
Yeah.
your ideals at home.
I got a news flash.
Or
for
don't
Joe.
come.
Right?
Right?
Dave Russo now, right?
Love Dave.
He puts on that he's a comedian,
Actor.
actor. Why don't you put that you're a hood cleaner? He's a hood cleaner now. Like he leaves that off. Why? Because
This is not part of the entertainment field. That's why.
There's a need for that.
he's working for my ex-partner now. I look and I'm like, somehow I don't see Dave up in there cleaning ducks, but
He does it.
But
He does it. I've
no,
seen it. He
no,
does it.
yeah, he
does.
just writes his name on the tag, so I think other people are working. But he's a hood cleaner. Dave, you're a hood cleaner. That's all.
Now, Dave Russo is. I love Dave. I've known Dave since we were little kids. Dave's my.
Who's your favorite hood
he's my
cleaner? Me or Dave
he's my
Russo?
You are. Of
All
course.
right.
I think
Tell
you're
him,
my-
tell him.
you're
He
my
just
brother.
sold Dave.
Jeff Hollywood Hurley.
You guys are all from the same neighborhood. I mean, we're all from this. We're all from
Next door
Malden.
neighbors my whole life.
Yeah. Did you know the other guy that we had? Not to jump trail because I want to get back to the story with Stern and BCN, but we had Dana Rosenblatt was on the podcast with us.
Yeah.
Another Malden guy, and he was
Dana's
he's-
from my neighborhood.
He trained with Rogan and Revere at the old Nautilus gym, but he said Rogan lived on Beltran Street in Malden too.
For a brief time.
Yeah, which
I knew he was around here. I didn't know.
He
know
was
that
on
lived-
Beltran Street in
Yeah.
Malden for a brief time because he knew John Panette.
it's so
Because
funny.
John
We
Panette-
always
John
can
Panette
do
grew
this,
up on
like
Beltran Street.
10 Shades to Kevin Bacon. We should do
Yeah.
10 Shades to Malden, Mass.
Right. Malden's the
Because
center of the
everywhere
universe.
you go, you run. But listen, Malden, unfortunately, is not the city that I grew up in.
It's not that. It's different. Things change.
it's
and
worse.
And that's why if you want where you grew up, you got to move to where you grew up.
No,
go to
but
Wake,
it's
you
worse.
got to come to Wakefield.
Everybody's got their hand out. They all get jobs. Everybody gets, it's all like,
They
It's
take
like
care.
our
Everybody takes care of
grandparents-
each other.
Our grandparents did the same thing, though. I remember
It's
being a younger kid.
It's all political.
And our grandparents were like, it wasn't like it used to be, and
Every
we sound
generation says that.
Yeah, it's generational.
It's
but
demographics change.
and, you get everybody. You can have family members of a family. They're all working on the dime of the city. Everybody's got their hand out. Like everybody's got their, they do. It's like, go get a job on your own.
I think we
make it yourself. You don't have to suck up the city of Malden for a salary.
I think we just notice them more because we've gotten older.
Yep.
And we've been around the block a lot
Yep,
more.
yep,
and
we
now
have.
we're
That's
actually
right.
paying taxes. We're paying mortgages.
Yeah.
We're contributing to society in a bigger way compared to when we were teenagers running around stealing helmets and.
Some people, and I'm not saying that you were saying this, Chef, but some people are like, oh, Malden's not the town that I grew up in. And what they mean is it's really a diverse, it's the most multicultural city in Massachusetts. I know you weren't,
But
you weren't necessarily saying that.
Right.
I'm saying when people say that to me, I go, yeah, I go, it is. I go, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I go, it's still a great town for what it is. I go, there's just less home ownership in Malden. When we were growing up, you knew your neighbors. Now you don't know your neighbors, and partly because the culture divide. There's a big culture divide where neighbors don't really talk to each other.
Well, can I-
And a lot of them, they're renters. And a lot of people don't own. And politically, there's a lot of people that are conservative and a lot of people that are super ultra lefty liberal. And they got the signs on their fences, you know, and it's just like when you go by and if you don't agree with their politics, you're probably not going to talk to the guy because he's your neighbor, but you're not going to talk to him because you're going to see that and be like, yeah, I'm all set. There's such a divide in this country because of politics and ideals, and identity politics is the worst thing that's ever happened to this country. We got to get away from that. But
So we segued. So I know
the Oprah story is a great story.
What story comes first, the Oprah or the Muhammad Ali story?
Oprah's probably the best one.
Yeah, tell the Oprah.
But I want to go in chronological. Was the Muhammad Ali story?
Muhammad Ali was before. That was my junior year of high school.
Okay, so that story, and I remember that fight because the picture of Ronnie Drinkwater.
I sent you the
is
video.
hanging
I
up.
have the video. I
In the
sent it to
video,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. Ronnie Drinkwater, great guy.
Very good friend of mine,
great,
by the way.
Great Malden legend. I knew his brother Dickie. I used to play hockey with his
Freddie,
brother
remember
Dickie.
Freddie?
Oh, Freddie,
Freddie's
who's
a
who I
great guy. I
went.
love
Freddie was a
Freddie.
classmate of mine.
That's Justine's dad.
Dickie is Justine's father. Yeah,
Yeah,
our
super-
friend Justine
super nice
Drinkwater.
family.
That's
And I knew that Freddie was going in. His brother was the New England heavyweight champ, Ronnie, and they were going in to see the fight. So I hooked up with Freddie and a couple of his friends. So we went in, we watched the fight.
What year was this? Roughly?
76.
What's
1976.
the 76? Joey's got a memory
I
better
know.
than
I know. It's crazy.
So we went there. So after, you know, everybody and I.
It was the old garden? Was it the old Boston
No,
Garden?
it was at the Heinz Auditorium.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it was a fundraiser for
That Thelma Lewis College Fund.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
The kids in black
Like
kids the inner city black kids in Boston.
Right.
It was a
For
fundraiser
Black
for them.
College Fund
and
for
it was
the
the Boston
kids
Public
that are gone.
Library or something that was
Right.
running it. Because
And they got Muhammad
because they
Ali.
interviewed him.
They had
Yeah.
him to come in to
and
do
he
it.
came in and Ronnie Drinkwater fought him in an exhibition match, and Ronnie knocked him down. I think he knocked him down twice.
Did he? Well,
Yeah.
there was a thing that when it went in there, and he would fought like a series of fighters, you know, exhibition, and so at the end of it, I mean, I had two idols. I always loved Derek Sanderson. You know, Derek Sanderson was always like the long hair, the one that wouldn't
a nut.
conform, and I loved Muhammad Ali. I loved Muhammad
Two
Ali.
great athletes.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I loved how, you know, he would just steal the show. And
American icon.
yeah, I wanted to meet him
Not many
like
guys can
everybody
claim
else.
that.
So we're backstage waiting for him to come out of his dressing room.
He was old at that time, by the way. He was you know, he was like, he was just on the cusp of the CTE, the Parkinson's.
Well, when did he win the title off of Foreman?
Oh, that was 71, 71 or 72, the Rumble in the Jungle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so he's coming out. As soon as he comes out, you know,
Might
after
have
all
been
these times,
73.
I mean, to see Muhammad Ali, it's like seeing the President of the United States. I mean, it's that big. Yeah. And right away, I'm like, Muhammad. I go, can I have your autograph? They go, we're not signing autographs. I go, Muhammad, come on, Muhammad. All of a sudden, he turned to me. He goes, you talk more than I do. He goes, and you're a white guy.
Compliment coming from Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you want? I go, I want your autograph, Muhammad. I go, right to Jeff Muhammad. And he goes, what's your name, Jeff Muhammad? I go, no, right to Jeff Muhammad. And he's like, oh, crazy white guy. And
Crazy
he
white
signs
boy.
it. And he goes,
Crazy white
that's
boy.
the only one. So he leaves.
Wow.
Then when he left,
great?
I
Persistence pays off.
got
dude.
his autograph. And I remember.
And he was still sharp as ever with the
yeah.
wit, with the
Yeah.
with the one-liners.
That was right before Parkinson's kicked in, because Parkinson's kicked in with him in the late 70s, early 80s, I think it was. So it was shortly before that.
Big time bucket list.
was still fighting
meeting
a little
Muhammad Ali.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it was.
But you-
it was
what
tough.
happened?
So finally, there was a guy, Frank Kingston Smith. He worked for a radio show, and they got the trunks that he wore in the exhibition fight and the robe, and they were going to auction it off for the college fund, you know, and for charity. And they're looking at it, and I'm looking at the things. I go, yeah, wow, those are nice, right? And the guy goes, yeah. And all of a sudden I go, choom, I grab them, and I screw. And they're running after me. And then Freddie grabs the robe, but they end up grabbing Freddie. and I took off. I'm on the. I must have been on the MBTA heading home like in about 10 minutes, right?
Not even on the train. He's running on the tracks.
And I got his shorts on. I'm on the thing. I put them on, you know. And
He's a big dude, man.
Yeah.
He was 6 foot.
I had them. And you know who has them? I gave them to a good friend of mine, Peter Levine. He probably has the number one
Malden guy, right?
Malden guy.
You know
was
Peter.
one
You
of
know
the-
Peter Levine. Peter does the Malden Musings column and the Malden Observer.
Yeah.
Peter's a good guy.
But
He's a really
Peter's a
good guy.
great guy. Peter's a true Malden.
you gave
Yeah,
it
he
to
is.
Peter?
He loves
Malden
Malden.
gem.
He does.
But Peter's a collector.
Yeah.
Peter, his father, though, they got baseball collect. They collect everything that they got. So I ended up giving them to Peter, and Peter has them till this day.
Do you still have the autograph?
I got the autograph, got it in a frame,
Wow.
and then
Need a picture of that. We got to get
Yeah,
a picture of it.
I'll-
Send me a picture of it,
I'll-
and we'll put it with the podcast.
I'll send you a
when we
picture.
edit it.
And then it was a picture of him because he was the face of the magazine for the fundraiser, and he wrote it on there. And then like I said, and then later on the next day on the radio, they went on and said, yeah, they thought I was Ronnie Drinkwater's other brother. And they said, yeah, we were given a thing, but Ronnie Drinkwater's brother stole Muhammad Ali's shorts. And they're like, oh, I stayed away from Ronnie for a while. Because
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's a great
Oh,
fighter.
Ronnie's
good.
a really big guy.
But he's a great guy.
He is
Great
a great guy.
And, one of the last times I saw him on one of your shows, Joe.
Oh, really?
He came up. He loved your show.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And, but,
I see him at the gym all the time.
yeah. But, I mean, so that's the Muhammad Ali.
Now,
Now then, Oprah. The thing
you
about
got to tell the Oprah story.
The thing about Oprah is I was able to parlay it into other stuff. Like I got on the Howard Stern show. They flew me out, put me up in a hotel, was in studio with Howard Stern.
Were you still with BCN at the time, or you were like freelancing with those?
It was
guys?
right after I left BCN.
that
Like
was 94 that happened.
Yeah.
Right? 1994.
yeah, I remember back because I remember the day that Charles found out that that Howard Stern was going to be taking over his segment on his show.
And he went to Hawaii, right?
Yeah, he had a play. I'll tell you another thing where Oprah comes in. He had a house in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey bought his house in Hawaii.
I remember seeing that.
whose
in the
house?
paper.
Yeah, Charles Lacquadera,
Okay,
his wife,
okay.
bought his house. He didn't know at the time that she was the one that was buying it, but because then you probably could have held up for more money. But I guess she tore it down and built up a big
She wanted
thing.
the property.
She keeps on coming. Oprah keeps on coming into my life for some reason.
I was more like an oldies. I know it's weird. I think I was just my soul was in the
Oldies
wrong
103?
time.
Oldies
Oh
103?
yeah, I was more of an oldies guy. But what was Lacquadera? I know I remember him.
He was WBCN.
But what was his shtick? Like, what was his?
He did the morning show. He was the morning show.
He
guy.
would do.
Was he
the,
Stern-like? Or?
Yeah. Yes, in a way. Well, I know that Stern, I listened to Stern. There was a tape on it, an old show. He said he looked up when he was at BU. He would listen to Charles Lacquadera's show and say, that's the kind of show I want to do. That's what I want to do in radio. Stern was at BU. He was a student, and BCN was #1 on the airways. He would do like Letterman stuff, like off the cuffs, interviewing people. He would have another personality. He would do Dwayne Glasscock, and he would pretend to be him. And that's when rock and roll, they had everybody. They would have the Rolling Stones,
Aerosmith,
the
I remember
Eagles,
Aerosmith.
Giles.
Jake Giles, Steven Tyler, he worked at
Peter Wolf.
Peter Wolf worked at BCN with Lacquadera. And Oedipus, let me tell you about this. Oedipus, smart, he scared me because, not fighting wise, but he just had that presence, and the only reason I was there is because he okayed it, and he ruled that.
He could have
BCN.
cut you loose.
Yeah, he
anytime.
ruled BCN with iron
He was
fist.
the program director.
Program director,
And they were
very
on
powerful.
Mass Ave, were they on Mass?
Mass Ave, yep, right across from the old Ramrods.
Is that a gay bar?
No,
gay bar.
it's a restaurant.
All right, tell the Oprah story because
yeah.
that's a good story. How did that start? What happened? You went to Chicago for work.
I was in Chicago. I used to have a national account, Mrs. Phil's Cookies. I used to service, and I would subcontract other companies out around the United States to service their systems. And I would periodically go out and inspect the systems, mostly at malls, because that's where her stores were in shopping
And
malls.
this is I know we didn't get too deep into it, but this is your company that services restaurant. Is it HVAC and hoods?
Yeah, HVAC and hoods.
Well,
And
good for you, man.
I went all the way out to Salt Lake City in Utah. I worked the deal. I had an 800 phone number. People don't know how big your company is. I could do, I just subbed it out, and I let them, like they see an 800 number, they think you're a big company, and as long as you can do the work, and I had them for like 5 years.
And you know how to find the right people in other parts of the country to get the job
in his
done.
industry, and he'd try,
Yeah.
he'd say, look,
Right.
I'll pay you this to do that, and then he would charge the company more money to make his cut.
It would be easier now to because you just go on the web and you look out hood companies out
In your area.
California, Arizona. Most of them, like Florida, had a lot of accounts. California, I had a ton. But the hard part about it is I go away for 2 weeks, then I come home for 2 weeks.
Right.
Go away, and it was good. Like just when I start getting my wife's nerve, my wife, I come home after 2 weeks. Oh, I miss you, and then a week later, when you going back?
She's
away,
finding jobs for you in
Back on the
Seattle.
road.
Yeah.
It's like being a fireman. Firemen should have great
Relationships with
relationships
their wives.
because when you're there, they're away for 3 days, then they come back. They're not on each other's nerves. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
So-
Yep. Absence makes a heart grow fonder. So, all right. So you go
This
to
is all
Chicago.
all this other stuff. So you got full-time work going. All this other stuff you're just doing for fun to get
Just
shits and
doing for
giggles.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
So
just
you-
getting a kick out of it.
So you go to
Absolutely.
Chicago. Go.
I'm out in Chicago, and then I was out there, and I took the day off. I was out there for like 3 days, and so after a while, I said, "Let me take a day off." And I said, "You know what? I want to go see if I can see the Jerry Springer show."
He's like Ferris
No,
Bueller.
no.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Okay,
You're jumping ahead of me
okay,
there.
okay.
I went to go see the Jerry Springer show because out of this thing, but unfortunately, his show wasn't taping. But another show that was there was the Jenny Jones show. And she was famous. She was a talk show host, and she used to have outrage. She's the one that got sued. Remember, she got sued.
The guy killed somebody, right?
Yeah,
Jones
the
show,
guy.
yeah.
There was a love interest. I guess
Yeah.
one guy, the guy that come on the show said, "I got a crush."
Yeah.
He was gay, but the other guy wasn't, and the other guy felt he got embarrassed, and
Humiliated. He felt
Yeah.
humiliated. Anyway, and what, he killed the guy?
yeah, he
Oh,
killed the
wow.
guy.
So yeah, back then it was Jenny Jones. It was the Ricky Lake show, the not the Mark Wahlberg of today. There's another Mark Wahlberg that does like the.
Donnie Wahlberg. Is it Donnie Wahlberg?
He had a show. Oprah had a show. No, there was other Mark Wahlberg that does like Antiques Roadshow. This other.
Okay.
I don't know if he's any relation. Oprah, obviously. Springer, and then the bouncer.
And you had,
Yeah,
you had
took
Morton
over.
Downey Jr. Morton Downey
Yeah,
Jr.
Morton Downey Jr.
Yeah. Then the bouncer took over for
Yeah,
him.
Steve,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He used to be an ex-cop. Someone said.
He looks like he'd be that type. Yeah. And
But you know one thing about the Jerry Springer. One thing about the Jerry Springer show. I mean, see, when they insult my intelligence and other people, when you know it's staged. It's so like some might be.
and we figured it
some,
out. It didn't
some
take
might
long
be,
to figure that
some
out.
might be through, but you get a lot of people. They just stage it.
Well,
you know?
after a while, it got really bad with the fights, and then
Yeah,
what's his name got his nose broken.
Oh, yeah, what's his name?
Geraldo.
Yeah,
Geraldo
Geraldo.
Rivera.
He
Yeah.
got that during though.
Jerry Rivers. Jerry Rivers.
He had some white supremacists, and then there was a big black activist that was there, and I guess
Threw a
he-
chair at him, right?
well, he grabbed the kid by the neck, and then when they were fighting, Geraldo came in, and one of the white Aryan brothers threw a chair and broke his nose.
He didn't see it. It hit him from the back. And
Yeah,
when he turned, it hit him in the face.
But that was real. Like
It was real. That was a
Geraldo
real
was a
brawl.
real show where Springer, So I get it.
and you had what's his name, the kid what's his face from Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall.
I,
show.
Like- yeah.
I said, well, go to quick City Hall. When I was living in California, I lived right below the Hollywood sign. So I would always go to the YMCA gym.
I remember the story.
So when I used to go to the gym, a lot of times, like, I'll always walk down with my shirt off, right? But I'm kept on getting hit on by all these gay guys, you know what I mean? So finally, I'd have to wear it. You go down Hollywood Boulevard, it's down there, it's crazy.
Well, it depends on what time you're walking down the street. If you're going at midnight to go to the gym,
Right.
I saw Arsenio Hall. Go ahead.
So I used to go to the gym. First day I go up there, I'm playing basketball. Who am I playing basketball with? George Clooney, right?
Oh, sure.
George Clooney. Now this is before when he was on
great.
some
Different strokes. No, he was on
It was a low-rated show, and he was always there.
I don't remember.
Facts of Life, wasn't he?
Might have been Facts of
He was
Life.
like the maintenance guy or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's Rosemary Clooney's son.
Son. No, her
No,
nephew.
her nephew.
Nephew.
Her
His
nephew.
Yeah.
Her nephew. And so he would be there. I got to know him pretty good. He used to go, hey, Boston, you want to play? All right, we go on the team. You know, he got a team. Tobey Maguire would be there sometimes.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I remember, and then Arsenio Hall would be there. And I became to be tight with Arsenio. He'd come in, and this is right when he was on the Alan Thicke show. So I recognized him. I'm like, I watch you on the show. So he was from Cleveland, and a lot of times when we finished, he'd give me a ride up to the towards the bottom of my street. He's going the one way. He had a rusty BMW, and you know, we'd play basketball, and he was a tough guy. He didn't take any
Did he get
crap.
into a fight? He got into a fight one day.
He got in a fight one time, and he listen. He's he's tall, rangy.
He can scrap.
Yeah, he could leap. He was a leaper. He could leap, and but I played basketball all his life. Then one time, who's up there comes in. Well, I used to see Tim Allen, Tool Time.
Oh,
Love
He'd
Tim
come
Allen.
in early in the morning for his workout.
Yeah.
So my wife's like, oh, I love him. What a wonderful, you know, my wife thinks these characters are real. Oh, I wish you were that kind of a husband.
with the tube belt and
yeah,
walking
yeah, yeah.
around.
And, see, that's the way you should be. And I told him, I said, you want to know what's funny? I go, my wife always gives me a hard time saying, I should be more like you. And he's like, she does know it's a TV show. It's not real. I said, that's what I tell her. Great guy. So I would see and then a lot of small timers that you would know their face, you wouldn't know who they were.
trying to make it,
Character
yeah.
actors.
Guy from CSI, the guy with the beard, I would see him all the time. I don't even know, but I would see all these guys. But the only ones I really knew good was Clooney and Arsenio. They, you know, I got them on a first name basis.
Well, and that's your personality. They know you're not like some weirdo. You just like, dude, I'm just gonna shoot some hoops. You want to shoot
Right.
some hoops?
And you're there
you
every
don't
day.
care. Like you don't.
You know, they love me. I'm a god. I bring up the ball. I'm a good hack basketball player that I can play. I'm not, but I would bring it up. And I do my job. I wouldn't shoot the ball. They love me because all these other
passive.
kids, they'd always be shooting.
Huns,
They
they're Huns.
they like the guy that's going to feed them the ball, you know?
So funny.
And then one time I went, he invited me over his house for a barbecue. I went over there.
Arsenio or Tim
Arsenio.
Allen?
No, George Clooney's place.
okay.
He had a basketball thing that he used to go. Sometimes they would play hoops. I got invited there. Arsenio Hall would invite me. I never really had a chance to go to the Alan Thicke show. And then the big one is one day when I'm going down there, they're like, "Oh, you probably like this. You know who's upstairs?" I go, "No." They go up and take a look. I go up and I'm looking. Who is it? Bruce Springsteen. He's up there. He's up there, you know, just working out, right?
That's funny.
We're out there talking to him. There's a lot of other small-time actors. He was chilling. We were talking to everybody, you know, and you never know. Like out in Hollywood, it's not like here. You see these other people at the supermarket. Like if they were here in Boston, people would be all over them. But out in L.A., I'll tell you funny, I used to go to
So they all
Jerry's Famous Deli, great deli at the Beverly Center. And I used to go in. And the reason I go in is you had a lot of LAPD that would stand security there. Because you never know, 1 minute you get a gang comes in. Gang. Crips, Bloods, Mexican Mafia. You don't know who you're going. You don't mess with these people. And they would have 4 or 5 policemen working details there. So as soon as I'm sitting there, I'm eating, and I tell the guy, yeah, I heard Shaq comes down here sometimes. This is right. And his name guy, yeah, he goes, but you probably won't see him now. He's here all the time, but it's off season. You won't see him. Who comes in? Shaq, right?
That's funny.
So then the kid goes, wow, like we don't know you're from Boston. I went like right up to him, right? Everybody else in there is all chilling, relaxing. I'm up to him and I said, hey, Shaq. You know, he goes,
You're like, hey, what's up, man?
yeah. He goes, after I'm done, you know, I'll take a picture, whatever. So I got to meet Shaq. Old Dirty Bastard used to come in there. And then Garth Brooks came in there one time. But like anybody
This is a
that's
deli.
anybody, a deli. And
But a
it's
good
Beverly Hills?
late night when you want good food. It's at
okay.
yeah. And it was at the Beverly Center. And
Where's the Beverly Center?
it's I think it's in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
It's a pot. And then like I said, out there that Hollywood
It's common.
Gym-
That's
yeah,
where they
it
live.
was
That's where
close
they all
by.
live.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could go on top of the building, lie in a lounge chair, sunbathe. You know what I mean? I was up there right before. I missed it, but my next door neighbor's son was best friends with Ray Manzarek, the keyboard player of the Doors.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there. The kid's over there. Who comes by? Raymond's Eric. And he said, "Oh, hi, I'm Ray. I'm just looking to get my son." "Oh, yeah, how you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, you're from Boston. We're talking." Raymond's Eric at the doors. If it was a few
that
years
great?
earlier,
Isn't
maybe
that
I
great?
might have met Jim Morrison. I was there like maybe 7 years too late.
Because you're not like a starstruck guy. You're just shooting
No.
the shit. You're just like this. They're not threatened by you, and you just say, "Yeah, what's up, bro?" You know,
Right.
want to smoke a
Because
fatty?
they're just people
The
like we are.
people that I was living with, I got introduced. A guy from Malden. His name was Chris de Blasi, and he was crazy. He think he got
De Blasi subs in Everett.
no. He's from Malden.
That's,
All right, so
you're in
with
Chicago.
I'm
at
in
the NBC
Chicago.
building.
So finally, they taped the first show. I got to ask the question.
Jenny Jones.
The show was why married men go to strip joints. And I just got up and asked the question. I said, "Listen, the wives are all upset." I said, "Listen, before you're a typical woman, right? Before you married him, you knew what he was. But every woman that marries a guy thinks, I'll change that about him. When they think that, and then when they find out they can't, now it's a problem." So, and
She knew what she was getting into when she
right,
married him.
and I went in.
get it.
I went in and asked that question. So I could tell Jenny Jones liked me. She was when I looked, she was looking at those blue eyes. She liked something
Hey!
about me,
Good.
And so finally, they had lunch. They were going to tape another show. So you go downstairs at the commissary where they serve food. Apparently, Oprah's longtime fiance, Stedman, has an office in there. He worked for some sports advertising agency. And all of a sudden, as I'm eating, who's right by my table but Stedman Graham? I'm
He's like 6'10".
"Jeez." So I'm like, "Hey."
He was married to her at the time, or they were
No,
They're
they
not
were
married. They're
dating.
never married. They're
They
just
never
been a
got
long
married.
time.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
still together. They've just never been married.
And I heard that's fake anyways. Like, it's a fake arrangement. Her and other lawyers, her and Gail, they're together. But she just does it for some reason. She's afraid it's going to hurt her,
Image.
her money and her image. I don't know. But, I mean, we're past 2024 for Christ's sakes, So finally, I go, "Yeah, I'm a big fan," sucking up to him. I go, "How I get some tickets to the show?" And he looks at me like he stepped in dog shit, He's like, and turns the other way. So I'm at a table with these other girls.
He just that was it for him. Now you're on.
Right,
Now
now-
you're on.
Now he's going to be like
now I
a
said,
chihuahua chewing on his ankles.
It's
Now-
Hollywood Hurley time.
yeah.
no, it's called Malden time,
Hey!
like a Malden,
Malden
like
came out
that
of him.
inner Malden comes out of you, like I'm
Yeah.
from Malden, 13 shades of Malden. Who are you, right? You're married to someone. So finally, the girls at the table go, "Oh, he's a pompous jerk." People come up
Because
they've
everyone
seen
saw
it.
how he reacted to him.
They come up, they go, "He's a jerk. That's how he is." And so I'm getting ready to leave, and as I'm leaving, he's still in the line, and he turns on, he eyeballs me. When you eyeball someone, it's like you want to fight them or something. So he's eyeballing me. So I go by him, I go, "You're a real piece of shit, you know that?" And I walked away. And I walked about maybe 15 yards away, and as I'm putting stuff into a barrel, next thing I know, someone comes from behind me, hits me, my tray goes up, and I'm like, "Don't even tell me," right? I'm thinking,
He punched you.
he like punched me in the back, like push, like a punch push.
He's a big guy, 6'10".
Yeah.
That's big. You can hit somebody when you're that
Not
big.
for nothing.
And he's 5'6".
I don't care. I'd kick his ass, no question about. I could tell he's tall, lanky. He's not a fighter. You know what I mean? I mean, the more
But he did put his hands on you.
right, I would have grabbed him in close. I would have took a chunk out of his cheek.
What position you played when you were in hockey? He played obviously
Forward.
Forward.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. He was the best player in the state of Massachusetts in
No,
1978.
I wasn't the best player, but I
You
was
were
One of the best. One of the
You
best.
were
I
one
was
of them.
no, but I wasn't the best. I'll just put it.
Who was the best your year in Massachusetts?
Probably Billy O'Dwyer.
Kid from Arlington?
No, that's Brian O'Connor,
Yeah,
good
that
friend.
kid-
And Brian
yeah,
was
yeah,
one of
yeah.
them too.
Okay.
Billy O'Dwyer played for the Bruins.
Okay.
Year before that, you had Mark Fiddler, Robbie Buckley's year.
Robbie
Robbie
Buckley,
was a
yep.
great
I
player.
just drove him to the airport the other day.
And then I see Mark Fiddler. I'm good friends with Mark Fiddler. I see him from time to time. He led Matt on the title. They were all good players. I was one of them, and Artie Bull cost me a scholarship to Northeastern. But we'll talk about that another
That's
time.
another episode. But I've seen a lot of clips. Joey shared a lot of clips.
So you sold the show. Hold on.
I was small, but let's put it this way. No question. I was the dirtiest hockey player in Massachusetts.
He was like
There
Kenny
wa-
Linsman.
There was no one.
Or Marchand.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. We're playing a summer league, as we're playing this team, and all of a sudden this kid kept on like jabbing me with his stick. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Right? Kid goes, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" I go, "You're gonna see what I gotta do after the game. I'm not gonna, because I was warned that they barred me for life there, and they enabled me to come back to the rink." Because I was barred for life for
was the
some
rink?
other fights. Twin Rinks in Peabody.
Danvers, yeah, Danvers. Yeah.
And so I swore to the other guy that they said, "Oh, he's going to start trouble." So finally, as I'm getting undressed, I go, "I'm going to kill this kid," right? So I walk out by myself. I walk in their dressing room by their coach. I go, "Come on, tough guy. Now, you want to be a tough guy?" Kid goes, "Oh, when I leave everything on the ice. If it doesn't," I go, "Oh, really? Now, you don't want to?" I go, "We'll leave this on the ice." And I go, boom, right in his face, right? And then the kid got up, started fighting. So as we're fighting, the coaches are letting it go. So I get him good. I got him on the ground. I got his shirt over his back. I'm hitting him. So finally the coaches jumping me. So when they jumping me, they had my hands. I really couldn't do anything. And I picked my skate up and I kicked him. And I cut him. I must have cut him about a ruler size.
Oh, my God.
And he was cut open. So finally, they had to lock us in the dressing room. The parents, they were trying to break into our doors, trying to get us. So I got double barred for life out of there.
Double barred.
Double barred.
Double barred. How old were you at the time?
Jeez.
Roughly.
70s,
Back
right?
then, I said I was probably 17.
So that's
Oh, boy.
1977.
Yeah, you had to be. When you're small, you had to be dirty. Like they say, like let's put it this way, like Marshawn dirty. you
Yeah.
know?
So-
But one thing is, I would fight. I wouldn't just sit around, do it, and not fight. You know.
So you get shoved. So you get shoved by Stedman. Now you're going into
All right.
Malden hockey mode.
Hold
What?
on. You sold the story.
Well, wait, yeah. Well, let me.
I wanna hear-
okay,
finish the
so,
story. Go
so
ahead.
finally, so he pushes me. Then he comes up, and I turn around. I go, "Did you just put your hands on me?" I go, who? He's like, "I'm not Stedman. I'm not Oprah. I'm not Stedman Winfrey. I'm Stedman Graham. I'm my own person. Don't try to come up to me." I said, "Listen, I come up to you like a perfect gentleman." I go, "But you got no rights putting your hand on me." And he started getting close. So he got a little too close. So I checked him with two hands, and I hit him back. And he came one more time, and I really hit him. And that's when he stopped. And then at the end, he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong." And he stuck out his hand, and we shook, and he left. And then a few seconds later, people going, yeah, that was Stedman. Oh, you know what? Yeah, are you all right? He hit me, and I yeah, my back's kind of hurting me. And that's the thing about it. Doesn't hurt right away. It comes after.
The next day, 24 hours later.
Yeah. And so then I went to the hospital. They had me in a neck brace. They said wear for a few days. And I started calling the news stations, you know. I called the Enquirer.
He's got a whole Rolodex
Listen to this.
Yeah.
This
with his
is-
contacts in it.
I got them in there. You know, the Sun, the
People
Examiner.
Magazine.
I got the cover of the was it the Enquirer? Or what magazine?
One was the Enquirer, one was the Globe. I was
the
in
Globe
the cover.
magazine. Yeah,
Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
People.
So I called them up. I said, "Listen," and I said, "I just got in a fight with Stedman Graham." Not even an hour later, right? And they go, "Are you Jeff Hurley?" I'm like, "How do they know my name?"
What?
They already know. They got like people, signers everywhere. They maybe a cop or something. They got everybody. You got a cop feeding inside
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
They get money back. You never know how it's done. So finally, I'm like, "Yeah," and they go, "We'll give you 5,000," and I'm like, "I want 15." I said, "First one to come to 15." I said, "After I talk to you, I'm going to call this other company." I said, "If you want the deal, you call me." So I figured 15 back then. That's a trip to Disney for the family.
Negotiator.
Yeah. Me and the wife are taking the kids to Disney off this.
You're like, I still got the shirt that he got his DNA on, and
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
everything.
Oh, listen, I got a whole. It's on video. I go, he's dead to right. So finally, I call my wife. I call my mother-in-law. I said, "Ma, is Tracy there?" She goes, "No, why?" I go, "I just got in a fight with Oprah Winfrey's fiancé." She's going, "What? No, you're lying." I go, No. She goes, "Oh my God." So then my wife gets in. I go, "Listen, there's going to be a fax coming in." Well, what ended up
An agreement.
Yeah.
To be a contract coming in with it.
Before they wanted, they went, and one company goes, "We'll give you the 15 G's." And I the quickest 15 G's I ever made.
Oh my God.
Then I parlayed it to, there were a couple articles in the Herald. The girls had that show there.
Oh, Gail Fee.
Gail
the
Fee,
Inside
and then
Track,
they put
I
it in
remember.
theirs.
Good people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Used to love those
and
guys.
then then I got on. There was a lot of people talking about it. Then I got a friend of mine said, "Yeah, they want you on the Howard Stern show." Did that. They flew me, put me up in a hotel room. So I got on the Howard, which is pretty cool. So I stretched that 15 minutes of fame. I got a trip to Disney.
$1,000 a minute on that one.
And guess what I got out of him? Nothing. The chief said I never got a penny out of him. Right? It was.
Oh, Stedman?
Yeah, I like people wouldn't represent me out there. They were afraid because of her,
Yeah.
you know,
What
that
did
she
the
owned
article-
Chicago.
What did the article say on the cover of the Globe magazine? What did it say?
I told them it got that her lawyers told me at the deposition that Oprah said she'll spend $1 million fighting this thing before I ever get a penny. So when I said that to him, that's it. Then what their headline went, Oprah's $1 million fight for Stedman.
Twist. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I said things on it, but they took certain things out of context.
Of course.
Then they take it from here, and you said it, but you didn't say it in this context. And I'm like,
twist the
now,
context.
now I know how people say how they're misquoted.
And they do it on the internet now,
Yeah.
with clips from the internet.
They do it, yeah. They do. It's unbelievable how they did it. But
Jeff.
15 G's, and when I leave here, I may fall, and that could this
No.
interview.
Hey, there's a picture of him on the cover of the Globe
We'll
magazine.
triple ban you.
Pointing to his
We'll-
neck. He's got the neck brace on,
Face.
and he's going like this, wincing in pain.
Like Mike Brady in the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. The guy
Throws
guy-
the briefcase.
Yeah. And
Now,
turns around.
now you know this. Like I say, a number of years ago, I got hit up. I got charged with 82 counts of insurance fraud.
I remember this story.
Yeah,
Not one, but 82.
82.
I remember this.
That could be a record. All right. It was bogus. All my acts was 100% legitimate. They came at me for something else. They wanted information on a friend of mine, which number one, I would never say. But number two, I had no information, right? Then they tried to power play my wife. Then they tried to go to my father was an ex-FBI agent. They tried to go to him. And so now over the years, like I say, I get a legitimate, I could be run over by a truck, right?
They're going to question it now.
And they're not going to pay me. I mean,
because
Right.
and then what I
That's
did
right.
is I ended up, they told me they were going to put me in jail for 5 years. Okay. Now I'm married. I got kids. I just wanted to end this because I got to take care of my family. Not that it was true. So to bite the bullet, even though I didn't do anything, I was willing to do a year. And they're like, nope, we want 3 years. And then my family and my wife's like, you're not going away anywhere. We're fighting this, right? To make a long story short, I got an unbelievable deal by the judge. No jail time. From 3 years that they wanted to potentially 5 to no jail time to pay a fine. It was so bogus, right? So bogus. And to this day, unfortunately, they brought up the Stedman Graham thing, which is all true. It all happened. I mean, Stedman Graham, but they brought that up. And I wonder to this day.
Aren't you the guy that stole Flutie's helmet, too?
Let me tell you.
So it's like this. He's like the guy, like the reverse, but the guy that wins the lottery like 5 times.
Yeah.
It's like how did he do it? How did he get so lucky? He's just vibrating on that frequency where he's attracting that into his life. That's Jeff. Jeff tracks
The funny thing,
these things
there's a
into
thing
his
called
life.
the Insurance Fraud Bureau. I had a friend of mine that was an ATF agent. He says they go to them looking to get information. They get information on everybody. And they say that, but all they do is they're supported by insurance companies to go after the little people. They never go after the insurance companies. And when I went in, they had, on my life, they had a book that thick, right? Back everything I ever did. Every hoax, every fight, every verbal assault.
Audio clips, photos.
They had me, and what they did is they were hoping they tried to take me in on a dangerous hearing, and they tried to get me off this book, and my lawyer cleaned their clock with it, right? And I got I got out.
Thank you
Yeah, Jeff,
for
thank
coming
you
back.
For coming on, man.
Yeah.
And,
Next time we'll get to the other stories.
And listen,
There's
Dave,
so many stories.
you got to have Dave Russo in there. He's a hood cleaner.
I've invited Dave.
We'll get Dave. We'll get him
Hey,
on. We'll get him
you
on.
know what it is?
I talked to him the other day. He'll come on.
What's he too good to come on the
No,
show?
Dave's the best.
He's busy.
man.
He's-
I'm
I
working with
saw
this
him.
summer.
I saw him poking himself on Paulie Gilligan's thing on there. He was at dinner. Then he said he was there. I'm looking. It was about Paulie Gilligan, and I see Dave Russo in every picture. He's eating.
We've invited Paul too. I
Yeah,
saw
Paul's gonna come on.
Paul.
Paul's a
the
great
best,
guy.
man. Paul is a great guy. Paul's the best.
We're gonna have a Malden night
Yeah.
with everybody, and
100%.
we're gonna get a few more mics. But Jeff, thank you again.
Dave, thank you. Listen, next time, my next big caper, I'm gonna come on you personally.
I don't know how that
Oh,
sounds.
I know that sounds really good. Pearl necklace.
He's gonna come on here.
Call the show,
personally
yeah.
and reveal the next big caper on here.
Next
The
big
next big
caper.
hoax. Hollywood Hurley, give a round of applause. Round of applause.
I own Malden. Malden, hey, to the mayor. You're not the mayor. I'm the mayor of Malden. Malden's not woke.
Check out our next upcoming shows. April, we're going to be at Capo Dinner Club.
Yeah, April 17th. It's a Thursday night. You can go to Eventbrite and get tickets there. Or May 3rd, we're going to be at the Regent Theater in Arlington. We just booked that one, so get ready for that. That'll be.
And I'm going to get Mike on Survivor. I can't believe you weren't picked for Survivor.
I know,
Three
huh?
times. They
They give
called
you
me
the same
back.
story. It's like a computer. All right, send them this, right?
Yeah,
Son of a gun.
one of these days. And then we get April 5th up in Hampton Falls, New Hampshire with Paul Dizzy
That's right. April
and
5th.
Teddy Barrett. March 28th, we'll be down in Florida.
Yeah, where are we going to be in Florida?
Bonita Springs.
Bonita Springs.
Paul not dizzy, right? Does he live in? He's Vertigo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Paul. He's a good
You
guy.
say vertigo. What do you mean vertigo?
Vertigo. He's dizzy and he gets vertical.
Paul Not Dizzy. This is a joke.
Ah.
Dominic, our producer, thank you
Dominic,
again as
thank you,
always.
Dominic.
It's the Boston Comedy Show, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Remember, it's not the minutes at the dinner table that make you fat. It's the seconds.
Take back Malden. Take
Jonah.
back your city.